All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Inside Bitcoin Spaces with Jason and Andrew.
What's up, Jason?
Today is Friday, April 24th, 2026. Bitcoin block height 946,458. Bitcoin USD price 77,957 US pieces of paper. Andrew, how you doing today?
Doing good, sir. And yourself?
Doing good. Thank you.
Awesome.
So we're up a little bit, pumping 77,000, 78. I think we touched 79. Maybe we'll soon be back in the six-figure range, 100,000 plus.
We'll see. We touched on it last time, but it's kind of been blowing up the Bitcoin blogosphere about the Iranian paying for Bitcoin, the toll in Bitcoin, even though I haven't seen any evidence that it actually happened in any real way. In fact, I don't even know if the person who said it has any authority, but the real thing is it's got a lot of people looking at, well, wait a second, why would they want that? Why would they want to pay for, a toll of their cargo ships in Bitcoin? And they said other things, but the fact that it was explicit is I think important, and it's just a big awareness, bringing up awareness. So sounding I think there's we also had a meeting here in Atlanta last on Wednesday, and they were talking about the MicroStrategy products like Stretch and this and that, and they were talking about just how much money is going after these things, and every spot Bitcoin ETF share that gets purchased. Now we've got Schwab, we've got JP Morgan, got these big financial banks and services companies that have their own products and are now promoting it. Is it's where are they going to buy this stuff? There's the MicroStrategy or strategy is buying twice what is issued every day, all the new Bitcoin. So it's this is gonna, I think, start to really, I don't think it's really set in the broadest way, right? Where these financial Wall Street types have really gotten it around their head. It's you just can't keep buying and buying this stuff without the price going up. It's just not possible. And maybe oil is a signal, hey, if the supply of oil is constrained around the world globally, doesn't that mean that the price has to go up? So, and maybe once people start thinking about that, they'll loop it back to Bitcoin. But we'll see what happens. They say it's the market can say irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So.
Yeah, Bitcoin's an option. It's real. It's a thing. Yeah. So slowly but surely, the world's coming around to recognize the power and potential of Bitcoin. They see it as an option, and it's only a matter of time before people start figuring it out and start using it for what it's meant to be used for, and that is self-custody, permissionless value exchange.
That's right.
Pretty awesome. All right, let's talk about Spaces protocol. You're going to be doing your presentation soon, coming up on April 29th at the Bitcoin 2026 conference.
That's right. This next week, I got to get my presentation finished.
It's coming quick.
This next week, I'm going to be at the Bitcoin 2026 conference. I'm going to be holding a workshop called Spaces Protocol, Sovereign Bitcoin Identity. And it's going to be on Wednesday at noon local time in the open source workshop area. They'll have a small stage, and it's part of a room where all the open source projects are kind of showcased. So I'm looking forward to that. It's great to be, I have to, it's good to be king. No, it's great to be a speaker. I've never been a speaker at a conference like this before, but the access and the events you get to attend and the networking and stuff is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm totally prepped I've made up cards. I don't know if you can see this, but I made up cards that are explaining Bitcoin. And then on the back, if I'm talking to somebody, I've got like the QR codes, like here's where my workshop is, come it is. And if you can't make it to the workshop, if you scan this code, it'll take you to the tool that I'll be demonstrating and you can do it on your own. So I'm going to hold open and I'm going to be giving away names on the @Bitcoin 2026 space, which
really
I
nice,
have.
really nice.
Yeah, and so hope to see. I'll be able to see how many people actually sign up for that, and also if I get someone that's really interested, like, oh, I'm going to get one of those top level names because I want to like, sell names and stuff. I actually made up another version of this card where it's talking about my backend platform.
Oh, cool.
That I probably won't give away this many, but it's working in a minor way. In fact, techno hippies on the Telegram chat.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah, he's been doing some stuff and putting some stuff out, and I reached out to him on Telegram directly, and we've had a little back and forth. So I'm actually we're gonna have a little meeting here once I get back and kind of coordinate with him a little bit and see what he's up to.
Is he going? Yeah. Is he going to the conference?
No. Yeah, I'm not even sure where he is. He's somewhere, I think, in Europe somewhere.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, he's putting out some pirate stuff. He's doing, but he's including Spaces protocol with it.
Yeah, his thing. I've took a look at it a little bit, and it is it's interesting because it actually pulls handbrake together and some IPFS stuff and Ethereum name service and a lot of other sovereign naming sort of things that he's kind of rolled together into his own browser variant. And so it's very encouraging to see, because there's one of the things that was on my list, once we got rolling, is to make at least some modest, simple browser that would understand Spaces resolution, protocol resolution, so that you could just say, here, just download this browser. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be the one you use all the time, but just download it, and then here, type in a Spaces name. See, you get to the content, that kind of thing. So high hopes for that. So yeah, it's I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be great. And if you want, I could and show a few things that I'm going to be using in my workshop.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Yeah, that browser is cool. I took a look at it. Now I'm pretty much Bitcoin only, so I know he's mixing some other things, but I think it's still cool that he's showing the use of Spaces. And even if people take Spaces protocol, it is open source. They can do whatever they want with it. They could use it for other chains. It's still anchored in Bitcoin. You can't change that.
That's right. That's right. And actually, I've kind of taken some liberties with the underlying code as well. I keep adding enhancements to kind of drive a use case, and this is what I'll be talking about. And I'll have a whole presentation about the why and why you care about Spaces and stuff, and talk about the auctions phase of things as well. But what I really want to do is give something they could take away from the conference. So I took and in the Nacho client wallet, and I made some modifications such that it searches at Bitcoin 2026 space. So you can, and I apologize that the backend isn't up right now, but you can actually search for a new handle, so Jason or something like that, and it would find that it was free, and then you can add it just like you could before. But once you do that, I've made some kind of modifications where you can go and get the proof, and I can go on the back end, generate it right there on the spot, and then everybody will have a button here that says that they can download the proof. And once they do, then they have that signing proof, and they can do things like sign a Nostr event where you can and I just made it easy for them. Like, here's a little hello world event. You can sign it. You can then go down here and you can broadcast it to Primal. I've already done this, and you show up. This user is never been seen before in Primal before, so it doesn't have a profile, it doesn't have a name, picture, anything. But here we can see the message comes through.
Man, that's
so
very cool.
That was the first part of it, And then the second part of it, which is the part I've really been working on, is a complete wallet experience. So I'll pull up my little Android emulator here, and ignore the error messages. But there is this is actually a wallet based on the Tether wallet development kit. So I've actually got one wallet where I've got gold and Tether and other things here. This particular one, I just have some Bitcoin in here to make the transaction. But if you click on this button up here, this similar thing, you can select this space, and you can start searching for the name. Same sort of functionality, but what's really interesting is this part. So once you've created a space or purchased one, because in this case you're actually purchasing one, then you can click on it down here, and as long as you've purchased, if you haven't purchased yet, there's a button that says take online or take on chain, and when you click on that, you create a transaction, which then creates the special on chain pointer. And this is a Sparrow wallet, and I've got it set up to mimic that same wallet thing. But we can see here's a couple transactions that form this. Now they're not very interesting, because the next thing that you do is you go back to my the tool, and you click on this hex tool, which allows you to then set different data about it. So you can say things like, oh, let me store the handle itself. So if someone's scanning online now, on the Bitcoin blockchain, they can find it. So I say, hi at Bitcoin or something like that. What it's doing here, it's building the actual raw hex string that you would then, that gets put on the blockchain. So you save it, and then you go, and you can then now you can create a new transaction that replaces that original one that the operator gave you, and it's now, you now have complete sovereignty and information. Now you still probably want to use the cert relay to have more active data, but this is the fallback. This is like, if that's not available, there's nothing that's between your name, and you being able to control the content behind it. And I think that's a super key thing. That's where I want to leave it with my workshop. But it's very exciting, and we'll have to see how it's received, and we'll get back to you next week. I'll should be just getting back, and we can do a Friday and kind of recap all the excitement.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Now that hex tool, that hex string that shows up there, is that the code that shows on the Bitcoin blockchain, or is it some human readable? Okay, so it's the actual hex code.
Yeah, but you can go onto the in Space CLI, and you can say you can ask for it, right? You can scan for it, and I'll have to show that maybe on a later video.
Okay.
We can get into the nitty gritty of it, and take
awesome.
the time just to cover, like, it'll probably, maybe we should probably like set up for like a few different weeks where we kind of just go through a few different sections of it, and because it's good to see kind of what's involved, and kind of look at it online, look at it in the command line. Some of these functions haven't made their way back into Akron, but at some point they probably would get upgraded so that you could maybe have this hex tool built into Akron or something like that. So yeah,
I think that's cool.
So anyway,
I like how you built in the Noster, so you could sign a Noster event, then you could just click. Right now it's just Primal. But one thing, if you could just pull that Noster or that Primal web page back up, one thing that I think would be even cooler, or in addition to this, is if you could have that npub show as the space's name. What would it require to show that npub as the space's name? Would that require something on primal.net side?
So no, that's kind of a standard function of Noster. And that is, you go in and create a profile, which is a type 0 record, that then allows you to set that this is the default behavior. If it doesn't see that, just uses the npub.
Right.
So you can then say, Jason at Bitcoin 2026 here. Now, that's anybody can do that. You can set your name to whatever you want.
Okay.
But I think what's really interesting is that there's a validation check called NIP05, which uses DNS and web servers to like give you a kind of that kind of check mark, like I'm authorized or I'm verified. So one of the things that I want to do next, once we have this kind of up and running and usable, is to suggest another Nostr improvement protocol that would you do a similar thing, but using Nostr or not Nostr, using spaces as the resolution.
Yeah.
So you would get like a super check mark, like not only is this person like NIP05 verified, they're also Spaces protocol verified.
Right.
And but that doesn't exist yet. But I can see how this would work, and it would probably work through the lib veritas, a mechanism for checking those things. So yeah, it's exciting. I think we're starting to see the pieces come together. I actually put together a press release and submitted it to the Bitcoin conference people. So we should see, hopefully somewhere in the media, a press release that happens next week as well.
That's cool. Now, could this improvement proposal that we're talking about here to show spaces, could that coexist with NIP05 and the DNS? Could they both exist at the same time?
Sure.
Yeah,
they can both exist because they would be both using different mechanisms to accomplish. They're accomplishing a similar thing, except for obviously a spaces protocol or a spaces name sort of verification is going to be a lot harder to to put together, because you're either going to have to buy a subname or you're going to have to go through the auction process and like spend like 11 days at least, securing a top level name and then creating the thing. So yeah, it's not something you can just roll out of bed and do on a whim. It takes concerted effort and time, and it'll get easier over time. But even if you buy a sub name off someone else, like at Bitcoin or something, and then pay for it, that name still has to be rolled into the proof, which still has to be the commitment of that proof still has to be written on chain, and that's at least one. That's a proof thing, which is kind of takes a couple minutes, and then it's getting the commitment on chain, which can take 2 minutes to an hour easily, depending on when the next block comes in. So it's like it's something that has some definite resistance. It's not something you can just unleash a bot army and create gazillion of them for like little or no cost. It just doesn't work that way. It just, and that's the kind of the beauty of the energy and the Bitcoin network blockchain behind it.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? So this is real Bitcoin. All this stuff that we're showing here, this is actually on Bitcoin. Blockchain is real Bitcoin. It's not a test net, right? These are all actual legit transactions.
Yep, these are. In fact, this is Sparrow Wallet. If it's a pretty common desktop wallet, and I've been using it to kind of, because you can take the same seed phrase you use to set up your wallet, either Nacho or the Spaces wallet that I've created. You can take that same information and you can go in here and put it in and watch what's going on. So you can verify this, that the exact same things are happening. Here's these transactions have happened. Now, if I go to a wallet that is the one that is being paid, so this is the one from my back end, you can see like I have different top level names or different sub wallets, and I've set it up. So now I got paid 1,256 sats to have that. If I go into this one, I can say, oh, okay, this was the op return. So this is the one,
cool,
for iPhone SE at Bitcoin 2026, and this was the pointer record. So so I put a information in the transaction itself pertaining to what it was purchasing. So
Now that information that you put there, did you put that in Sparrow or did you put that in your mobile wallet?
no, in the mobile wallet,
In the mobile
it's
wallet, okay.
automatically, it adds that
Okay, so
as part of the
Sparrow's just
transaction
displaying
create.
it.
Yeah, we're just looking at it.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so we can get more into the details of this stuff later, but it's these are all real transactions. I'm spending money as I'm testing this stuff
That's
out.
awesome,
So
man. This is really cool.
yeah.
Now, did you in the settings? Did you do anything like with the derivation path? Did you make any changes? I saw it was like BIP 39, and did you have to change anything? XPub, that's all generated by the wallet, and the derivation path.
This is going back to the Nacho thing. This is sorry, wrong one. That's my wallet. Let's go back to this. No, this one. All right. So I actually changed the derivation path. The original Nacho wallet was using like 25052 something, and I actually had to go and I made it match what a normal Taproot wallet does, which is this 86 is a Taproot wallet. So that's why when I go into Sparrow, I can say create a Taproot wallet, and I use this not what this value is called the account. So this next one's the network. So 0 means mainnet and 1 means testnet. And then so that's how you can tell the difference. And then this 9 is what they call a sub account. So if you notice on Sparrow, if I go to this one, then I have this Subspaces. Normally you just get one tab here, and the derivation is just 00. But I said, hey, add account. And the reason I did this just to make it easy for someone using Sparrow. But you can see here how I have account 8 and 10, but no 9. That's because I've already grabbed 9 and created a new tab. So what this allows me to do is to kind of keep all the Spaces transactions that pertain to Spaces and their anchors in a different part of the wallet, so that the user, because these are actually live UTXOs, right? Mm-hmm. These are UTXOs that are spendable. In fact, when you update your data about your subname, you're actually spending this old one and then creating a new one in its place. That's how it works. But you don't want to accidentally spend those UTXOs if you just want to like send somebody some money, because you'd be ruining your pointer.
You'd lose it, right? You would lose
your
space.
you would lose it, right? So that way, that's why I have it separate from the default one. So this is the one at this path. Oh, I should show you here. So this one is at the path 9. And it could have been anything else, just as long as both I knew what to use here as well as in the in the wallet.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So when you change that derivation path there, does that give you a totally new private key?
Yeah, effectively, every derivation path plus your original seed phrase, your original key pair, give you a whole different set of IDs. In fact, these addresses are effectively key pairs that are derived for everything. Now, so when I go to this one, the Subspaces, I can see that I've got 2 that have been used now. But if I added more Subspaces, then the application knows to like keep using these different ones.
And every address is different with this /0 and then the other /9.
Yeah. So if I click on this and bring up the details of it, so notice this is like M860900. So the next 0 means whether it's the primary or the change account, the change ledger. So like normally when you spend Bitcoin, you get some back. That's the change.
Change, yeah.
So that's usually on 1. In fact, the Bitcoin, and then the last one is kind of an index of the ledger. So if I go to addresses, so see how it's got this section called change addresses?
Yep.
These are the ones that have the 1 is the second thing. So this address would be the first change address of this sub account.
Well, how come that slot the second to last, the /1, how come that doesn't give you a new private key?
It does. Each one, every address that you see here is, you can think of it as a public-private key pair. So this is, you're seeing the public part because this is what you would give to somebody else. Say, hey, pay me something, pay me some Bitcoin. Here, okay, well, you need to give them your public address, right?
Okay.
So maybe I could pick any of these and say, here, even one that's already used, I could, and send it to you, and you would send some Bitcoin to it, and then it would show up here. It would be attached to this address.
Well, I think I'm a little confused because when you restore a wallet with a seed phrase, it gives you all the receive addresses and the change addresses.
Yep, it does. And the reason it does that is when you first set up a wallet, it scans to see, do I see any UTXOs at any of these addresses? And it goes through all of these addresses, like the first 30 or so, looking for money. And it's possible that it might not find something. That's actually something that freaks people out if it happens and they're not aware of what's happening. It's like, where's my money? It's gone. It's mysteriously vanished. Well, it's like, not necessarily. Either you got the derivation wrong when you set up the wallet, or maybe there's sometimes based on wallet behavior, there'll be like large gaps. Like I'm using 1 and 2, but then somewhere down here, way off the screen, it's this other one, got used for some reason. So it all depends on the wallet, how the wallet was programmed to behave. Most people just go sequentially grabbing things, and then the change, if you spend some, the change comes back into the change address. So you kind of get to see what's outbound and what's change. But any of these change address ones, they all show up in the UTXO set that you can spend. Now, if I go to this one, let's go to this one. So yeah, I've got, and this is a behavior of the wallet development kit I'm using, which is that it only wants to use the first address to receive stuff on. So notice that this one actually has 9 transactions. Now this isn't best practice, but it's just comes with the wallet kit that I'm using.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah, that's really cool. So in Sparrow, there's a setting to increase. So if you reload your wallet, right, and you don't see your funds, maybe it's only scanning the first 30 receive and change addresses. You can expand that out to whatever you want.
You can. And this is one of those things. It's just like if you're new to Bitcoin, this might be a bit confusing. It's all part of the learning process. So once you kind of get a gist of it, and you learn not to be freaked out when something doesn't work the way you want to, or what you expect. You kind of learn that it's actually not so bad. So anyway, we should that's kind of the gist of what I'm going to be showing. So everybody get a little bit of a preview. I need to go back today and go through this step by step so that I can make a video and enhance my screenshots in my presentation and stuff.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm really looking forward to this presentation. So when are you flying out to Vegas?
I'm heading out Sunday afternoon late, and then I'm back on Thursday. Of course, flying back east, you just lose the whole day. So but I'll be there for sure on the ground looking. If I've got my business cards all printed up and with my picture of that I'm using and the little barcode, so I can say, hey, this is me. And if you want to come see my session, here's a little code for it.
Man, that's awesome.
So make it easy for people to come out and I actually did a little bit of dry running at my Bitcoin meeting on Wednesday, gave away a few of these names to my local Bitcoiners. So, and we've got a good contingency, probably 6 people coming to Bitcoin conference from Atlanta, from our team. So our group, I should say. Anyway, it should be good. Have hopefully some friendly faces in the audience. Yeah.
You know who I hope you run into and give one of those cards to, because I'm really curious what he thinks about Spaces. I brought this up to him multiple times in live streams, videos, comments. I've emailed him, and he actually responded to me, but not about Spaces. Sent him messages on Nostr, but he's very vague. He's not direct whether he likes it or not. And that's Jeff Booth. So if you run into Jeff Booth, man, I would love for you to just try to talk to him, be like, hey man, I had this workshop, love you join, things like that.
as part of, I mentioned that being a speaker is nice. So like one of the things with being a speaker is they said, is there anything you'd like to, they sent out an email saying, is there anything you'd like to contribute in terms of like a press release? So I put one together and then ran it by Mike and submitted it. And but in that email, they said, is there anything else like influencers you would like to talk to? And actually, I'll be also getting interviewed for some Bitcoin related film earlier on Wednesday, right before my workshop. So I got that set up. But they said in this email, is there anything else that any influencer or media personality that you'd be interested to meet? So I put in Jeff Booth and Natalie Burnell and a few others like Ben Perrin, BTC Sessions. I've actually met him before, but it'd be good. But and some other folks. But Jeff Booth was one of the people I explicitly mentioned. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I'll have a chance. You know, my Bitcoin club, we went over his book, The Price of Tomorrow. We kind of went chapter by chapter and had meetings, each meeting on a chapter. And yeah, it's good. And he's a face that's out there. He's talking pretty regular.
Yep.
So yeah, it's very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we get some good press, bring up some awareness, right? I think the project, the auction part has been live for like over a year now. Yeah, so probably about almost a year and a half. So we've been like waited for this the Subspaces component to really settle in, and I'm looking. I'm starting to get excited about what could be built on top of it. So
yeah, that would be great.
Also, I'm like, well, I reached out to some people that might know, but I don't think Jason Lowery is going to be there. But if he is, I would love to meet him because. Well, actually, that ties into what you were going to show next. So go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
So speaking of Jason Lowery, we have the U.S. Admiral Samuel Paparo. So he confirmed that the military is actually running a live Bitcoin node, and he talks about Jason Lowery's thesis about how Bitcoin's a power projection. So let me just play this quick 2-minute video, and we can get into this.
Our competition with China isn't just about military strength. It also includes monetary strength as well. You know, last year, the Chinese Communist Party's main monetary think tank published research on Bitcoin as a strategic asset. You know, this came after President Trump moved to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Admiral, how does leadership in Bitcoin impact leverage, resilience, deterrence for Indo-PACOM against China? And do you think that a strategic Bitcoin reserve helps America compete against China?
Senator, our research into Bitcoin is as a computer science tool. It's a combination of cryptography, a blockchain, and a proof of work. And
he's working on it,
shows
folks.
Incredible potential.
We're using a new video
as a computer science.
We're not completely.
No, it's going. It's playing.
Oh, it is it.
Yeah,
well, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I know. That's all right.
Oh, sorry.
Tool that through the proof of work protocols it actually imposes more cost than just the algorithmic securing of networks and our ability to operate. And Bitcoin is a reality. It is a valuable computer science tool as a power projection. And outside of the economic formulation of it, it has got really important computer science applications for cybersecurity.
All right, so there's the Admiral talking about Bitcoin as a reality. Yeah, I had to play it on the other screen so you didn't see it, but
all right, sorry.
Talking about Bitcoin's a reality. It has real use for nations' cybersecurity as a power projection. So that ties right into Jason Lowery's book, Softwar.
You know, and this guy is part of the Indo-Pacific Theater group?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. What is that?
You know, the military divides the globe up into like different regions.
Okay.
And I think it's the kind of Western Pacific, like, you know, Singapore, Japan, China, probably, and Australia and stuff. If I was to guess, I think that's right. But if I recall, Jason Lowery recently got assigned to that same region. Now, I don't know if he's like under the same guy or if he's just, he's in Space Force. So this is like, but he's assigned to the same region and obviously the same topic area. So I can't imagine that these guys aren't talking to each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that I thought was really interesting about that clip is the fact that he went way out of his way to say that nothing about monetary anything at all, like nothing about Bitcoin and the price and the use of it as a store of value or any of that stuff. He totally stayed completely away from any monetary thing. And in fact, the way he referred to it was a computer science technology. He kept saying that, a computer science technology. He did say power projection there, I think, once.
He did,
but he kept returning to this like computer science technology kind of terminology. And I thought it just kept sticking out to me as being very peculiar, why he went to great length to phrase it and couch it that way. It makes me think that the way they're thinking about it is more on an application. And I think they even talk about building on it, and that they're testing the securityness of it so that we can decide how to build, how to interact with it. So it's that I thought was the most sort of interesting way that they couch it. Of course, the senator's like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking. I'll have to look at your answer." It's like, well, it's like, yeah, that was, I'm sure to the average person, a little bit of a technical description, but it's just kind of like the whole, oh, we're going to charge you in Bitcoin for your tanker to pass by the Strait of Hormuz. This is like, I'm seeing a lot of people referring to this clip and saying, why is the military interested in Bitcoin? That's like the big question hanging out there.
Yeah. Well, Jason Lowery actually talks about this, why he wants to reframe it from money to a national security tool. And the reason is basically he says that he takes it out of the banker's hands and he moves it one level up to military. And it says, look, you guys are not qualified to talk about this military tool. So get the finance banks out of the question. This is a matter of national security. Now, could that be good? Could that be bad? Because potentially the military could say, hey, no U.S. citizens can own Bitcoin. It's a matter of U.S. national security. They could do this 1401 or whatever the heck it was, where they took Americans' gold, they made it illegal, you had to exchange it, and then they upped the price of gold. We could be seeing something like that in the works right now.
Well, it is interesting, and yeah, it's the way Jason Lowery talks about it. It's both a military sort of power projection mechanism, and I tell you, I mentioned I'm a big fan of the software premise, not so much from the military perspective, which I think is interesting, but when you talk about it especially to hardcore like Bitcoiners, like real maxi Bitcoiners, when you start phrasing Bitcoin in a military like weapon or like power sort of framework, that, let me just tell you, there's a lot of people that do not like that.
I see that.
They are very resistive to that, and putting those two things together, and maybe it's like peace, love, freedom, and then, military like technology to wield against enemies. They're like pretty far apart in terms of methodology. So I think I understand it. But the thing that, and I'll leave it on this, is that really struck me from that book is at the very end, he describes Bitcoin as a global state machine that's energy bound. And now most people don't understand what a state machine is, but from computer programming, again, from computer science sort of theory, a state machine is a way of representing a more complex system in a way that can be tracked and manipulated and stuff, which fits right into what the Admiral was saying. So we'll have to see where this goes.
Yeah,
Very
I wonder why a lot of people, because Jason Lowery gets a ton of hate. I understand from one perspective, he works for the government, so a lot of people are going to hate him for that, call him a spook, things like that, insider, whatever. But as far as his thesis as a soft war, as a tool that people are going to use, we're going to fight each other on the internet, it makes sense to me. The internet's becoming more and more valuable. It's a place that we spend more of our time. So obviously a tool that's permissionless, that's bounded by energy, proof of work, where you can't fake it. You have to actually mine a block to prove it, and no one can go back and change that. Of course, that's valuable. You can timestamp things. You could do all types of stuff on that. Of course, that's valuable.
Yeah, I think people are just starting to wake up to the fact that that the Bitcoin blockchain, Bitcoin itself, has a unique set of properties that are unlike anything else on the globe, and there are applications and functions that can leverage those properties. So building in a way that takes advantage of those properties is in Space Protocol is one of these things where it's like, look, it's a name, it sits on the Bitcoin blockchain, and it can't be taken away from you. It doesn't matter if you're Iranian or American or like Lebanese or, anywhere on the planet, off planet, under the planet. It's like yours, it's yours alone. And, unless they get your private key, they can't take it. So
could it be possible that people are having a hard time separating the value of the Bitcoin token, the USD value, separating that value from the value of the blockchain itself?
Sure. I mean, people they conflate the two things. I mean, if you want to be like technical nitty gritty, they're separate, right? That one lives on the other. The Bitcoin token lives inside the Bitcoin blockchain. So if you don't in a way, like the Bitcoin blockchain is nothing more than a ledger.
Right.
It's like Jason's got these bits of Bitcoin, Andrew's got these bits of Bitcoin, Jeff Booth's got those bits of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor's got a bunch of these other bits of Bitcoin, it's like, that's all it is. It's just like, you can write it on a piece of paper. It's like, with columns, like, what does Jason own? What does Andrew own? What does Michael Saylor own? And that's all it is. So it's just information. It just happens to be information about a particular defined token that has rules about how it comes into existence and, how much there will be and how quickly it gets created. And that's the consensus protocol.
Yeah.
That's Bitcoin itself. So yeah. But it's always, I always find it difficult. People always are like putting these things together in the brain. And if you really want to have a deeper discussion with folks, you have to kind of take the time to separate out the nature of the blockchain versus the token itself.
Yep. All right, Andrew. Well, that was a good show. Anything else you want to discuss before we wrap up?
Nope. That was pretty good. And we, like I say, if anyone's coming out to Vegas next week, please look me up. Come shake my hand. I would love to meet you. And, if you can make it to the workshop, even better. And if you can't make it to the workshop, that's fine too. There's going to be more stuff that we're going to be talking about. There's going to be more opportunities to get yourself a subspace name and start playing with it, start using it. And we look forward to all of that fun stuff coming in the future.
And there's going to be a replay, right? We'll have a replay to post up on this channel.
So I'm going to do my best to get it recorded.
Okay.
Do it. But no guarantees. Yeah, I'm going to try to have a couple people cover it. So hopefully we'll have a decent thing, coverage of it. And if not, I'll re-record it as a full demo where I can kind of show it together. Because I really want to kind of use it as a piece of media that we use to help kind of educate people.
Yeah, as a learning tool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as a tool.
Yeah.
And all right. So great to chat with you today. And we look forward to next week where we'll have, I'll be fresh back from Vegas and we can talk all about what happened.
Nice. All right. Good talking to you, Andrew. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Right. All right, just take care.
See you later.